This podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you are looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. All right, welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast. We are the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective, and we are also a proud member of the College Huddle podcast community. As always, make sure you're following us on all of our social media accounts, especially Instagram and Twitter. Those are kind of our two main ones. We're also on TikTok. We have a YouTube channel as well for all of our video episodes. Make sure you're following us on there. Give us a like, give us a subscription. Got Tyler here with me, man. We've got some games and a lot of information to dive into, man. You ready?
Yeah, boy, let's get into it.
But before we dive into some basketball game recaps and previews, we have to get caught up with our Red Towel wrap-up, which catches us up with all the athletics news that we've missed since we last recorded. And as always, is brought to us by Trent Bedding Company.
Don't forget your headboards, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green.
All right. Hey! Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
All right, first we're going to start off with WKU softball. We got sophomore infielder Morgan Sharp. She was named to the All-Conference USA preseason team. And the Lady Toppers were voted second in the Conference USA preseason poll.
Yeah, always an awesome honor when you have any of your players selected to a preseason all-conference team. Just kind of shows their potential and just how important they are to the team. Obviously, we wish it was more players. And I think as a team that's rated the second, voted to finish second in the league, it's kind of surprising there's not more. So I won't be surprised if, on the postseason awards, if we have more than one award winner as far as accolades on the all-conference team. But congratulations to Morgan and looking forward to softball season. Toppers voted second right now, currently behind Liberty. Obviously, we want to flip that around. We want to see the Toppers finish on top.
Moving on to the women's basketball team, they beat Sam Houston State 82-49, absolute beatdown. And then they beat La Tech 69-61, and they have now won 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, don't look now, but the Lady Topper basketball team is getting hot. Started a couple weeks ago when they upset Middle Tennessee in Diddle Arena, shocking the conference favorite, the team that's represented us in the NCAA tournament for a few years running now. They had won 33 consecutive games, knocked them off late in that game at Diddle Arena. And then, came home again and defended home court with Sam Houston and La Tech, beat both of them pretty handily. So 5 consecutive wins. Greg Collins seems to have turned a corner. We talked about that a lot last year, just getting close and letting games slip away at the end. Retooled the roster this year, added a little bit more size, has several players that can fill up the stat sheet and score for us. And we're now seeing the fruits of that, that roster overhaul and just winning a lot of games. And we just need to keep that going moving forward as we, are into the heart of conference play now. And, the tournament in Huntsville is not far behind. So continue the good job in winning, ladies.
WKU tennis team, they fell to Lipscomb to a score of 5-2, and they now fall to 2-1 on the season.
You never like to lose games, but it is early in the season now. Still a 2-1 record. That's a pretty good Lipscomb team from what I see and read about the the team itself. All the matches were pretty close. Easily could have been flipped in a couple of those, and we're staring at a close victory instead of what looks like a lopsided loss. So keep their chin up. I still like what we have on our tennis squad. We have a couple all-time winners, especially for doubles and singles matches on that team. So I feel like we still have some good tennis ahead of us this season.
WKU soccer goalkeeper Maddie Davis, she's been named to the United Soccer Coaches Scholar All-South Region team. She is one of 13 members on the regional team.
Yeah, getting it done on the field. We talked, in the fall season, how often she had a clean sheet, just shutting out teams. And then she also is doing it in the classroom as well. I mean, she's carried a 4.0 average the entire time she's been at Western Kentucky. I read on the press release for this scholar announcement. So hats off to her. Love to recognize our student athletes when they're getting it done on the field and in the classroom. So well deserved for Maddie.
This is looking forward to in the future, but all session passes are on sale for the for this Conference USA Basketball Conference Championship in Huntsville.
Yeah, me and you we're there last year for it. If anyone listening is on the fence about going to Huntsville, not sure about the area or the arena or whatever, man, it was in Frisco for so long, such a tough trip to get to for so many fans that just couldn't go. Of course, we had that god-awful black curtain that was just ridiculed by so many others. When Huntsville was announced a few years ago, I was kind of like, man, I don't know. I thought we had better options. But when I was down there for most of that, I think I was there Wednesday on through the championship. The arena is great. It's a little cold because it's an ice hockey arena. It's a little cold in there, so pack a layer. Be ready to bundle up a little bit if you want to be warm. But for basketball, it's a great size arena, good in personals, not too huge where it kind of swallows and drowns out the crowd. The area around the arena is nice and built up. A lot of new stuff, food, shopping, coffee. Wherever you want to go, just walk around. Just a really good downtown area to check out. Easy to travel in town. Nice, easy trip to get there from Bowling Green. So. Really hope that, we had a lot of toppers there last year, but it kind of grew as we won each game. I'd like to see that start with game one, this year, whenever we get to the conference tournament, because it's a really fun trip, really easy trip. And that home court advantage, we're pretty close. That can definitely help lift our team to some victories.
Yeah, just to echo your sentiment about that. I mean, me and Jepson, we went down there championship day. We left shortly after lunch. We had a little kids party to go to. She was my friend's daughter. Went there in Glasgow, left out, got down there in no time. Real quick, easy trip, and then driving around in the city is super easy. There wasn't too much traffic, and we just easily parked in parking structure and walked right to the stadium or the arena. And it really is a nice town. But moving on to track and field meet, they were at the meet in Bellarmine Classic. 14 Hilltoppers set personal records, and we're about to name some of their accolades. Cameron Horton, he finished first in the 60-meter dash. Van Thrasher was second in the 60-meter hurdles. Wade Balcom second in 800-meter. 4x400 men's relay team finished second. Jeffrey Cruikshank second in the high jump. Van Thrasher finished second in the long jump. Kaysen Barton second in the shot put. Kaysen Barton first in the weight throw. Kalina Urbanak first in the mile run. The 4x400 women's relay team finished second. Sophia Roskowski placed first in the pole vault. And Jayla Gilbert placed first in the weight throw.
Whew. Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out of the track and field. Some familiar names on there, Cameron Horton, we've talked about him before, Wade Balcom, Kaysen Barton, obviously friend of the podcast, has been on and did an interview last year, but also some new names on there, pretty cool to see Van Thrasher in multiple events, Kaysen also, both of our relay teams finishing second, just a lot of good stuff. Sophia Roskowski set a personal best and a school record for the second time in a row as a sophomore in the pole vault. So big congratulations to her. And as always, the full meet results can be found on WKUsports.com. If we try to list every single athlete and every single event and every single finish and time or throw, jump, whatever, that would be an hour-long episode on just the track meet. But you can find all that. We try to highlight all the top 3 finishers for all of our events. But a lot of good, 14 personal best is really good for any track and field meet.
And we ain't finished with him yet. Pole vaulter Sophia Rakowski named Conference USA Female Field Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, congratulations her. Again, personal record in the pole vault for the second meet in a row. I think it's like one of the top 100 current vaults in the nation. Pretty good for a sophomore. She could potentially be in contention to go to nationals if she continues increasing and doing better with her vaults, as you would expect as the season goes on. She obviously wants to be getting better towards the NCAA regionals and hopefully pushing towards a nationals bid. But well deserved, and anytime someone wins an of the week award, we love to see it and hear it and celebrate it.
WKU Track and Field announced the signing of javelin thrower Tatum McGlynn.
Yeah, welcome to the Hill, Tatum. I don't hear a lot about our javelin throwers. I don't know if for whatever reason that is. Maybe it's just where we're finishing, but maybe that starts with the signing of a new one. We get somebody to the Hill that's going to make a splash, and you never know, just someone to look out for in the future. Welcome to the Hill, Tatum.
Moving on, WKU Soccer, they announced the signing of Danielle Lewin and Taylor Touche.
Again, a couple more signings made official. I found it interesting that they said, I think on both of those, they said bringing some offense to WKU, to Bowling Green. I think we talked a little bit this past season about the soccer team having a little bit of trouble scoring. We were pretty good defensively. We talked about Maddie Davis and how she was as a goalkeeper. But maybe we're adding some ladies here that can help us put some balls in the back of the net. So looking forward to those, and welcome to the Hill.
Professional Volleyball Federation All-Star Game voting is live. Vote for Paige Briggs, Jenna Otek, and Kaylee Cox.
Yeah, we'll share that link on our Twitter and on our Instagram story, how to go and vote for all 3 of those, former and obviously current coach Jenna Otek, how to vote for them to play in the All-Star game. All 3 of them. Jenna Otek's been the starting libero for her team. Kaylee Cox is leading her team in points scored currently. Haven't seen a lot of Paige Briggs notes, but I know she was impactful last year when she was with Omaha. She's obviously moved teams this year, might be getting settled into a new role. But, we think highly of all 3 of those pro toppers, and let's go support them. Let's go vote them into the All-Star game. Go Tops.
A former Hill topper, Upton Stout, he's performing really well at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, the Senior Bowl is a really super important exposure, post all the bowl games, post the national championship, before pro days, before the combines. All the NFL teams, scouts, etc., are there watching, the best of the best in college football compete there. And if you just go into your Twitter search and just type in Upton Stout and go to latest, you'll see all the scouts there just raving about the reps that Upton Stout had. Every single one, not a bad thing mentioned. We know what kind of athlete he is. We know what kind of impact he has. He plays bigger than he is. And now I think scouts and NFL, eyes and evaluators are also starting to see that. And I really am happy for him. I hope that continues this week. He stays healthy, and that parlays right into a great pro day combine. And then we get to see his name called pretty early in the NFL draft. Really looking forward to that.
Former WKU offensive line Stacey Wilkins, he is declared for the 2025 NFL draft.
Yeah, that's now 10 Hilltoppers that have declared for the NFL draft. That's a pretty amazing number. A lot of guys putting their name in there to potentially go pro, whether that's in the NFL or if it ends up being in another league, we don't know. But we obviously wish Stacey and all those guys the best of luck in their pro aspirations.
And now WKU football, they announced some signings. We got 3 of them. Defensive line, Zach Strange. Offensive line, Devin Mack. And offensive line, Elijah Tank Williams.
Yeah, the portal taketh, the portal giveth, and this is the portal giving us some guys. One of those guys is a high school signee. The other 2 are portal transfers that are coming in, and I did find it fitting that we just had a Tank graduate. Terrion Thompson, Bowling Green local and legend, has been here at Western for the last 4 or 5 years. 1 Tank exits, and now we have another Tank coming in, albeit on the other side of the ball, but this signing class and all the portal additions are really starting to add up. We'll put out a full list here real soon, as it seems like it's starting to slow down a little bit before we have the next portal window, obviously in the spring. But really looking forward to all the additions we have on the team. Offensive and defensive line. All these guys are in those positions. I mean, we are stacking up some depth, some size, and some bodies along those lines. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all these guys once they hit the field for the spring game and into fall camp.
And this week we got $3 concessions all week at Diddle, and Thursday's game is a whiteout.
Yeah, so this Thursday and this Saturday, both of our home games this week, $3 sodas, popcorns, select beers, and hot dogs. So, man, I mean, it is expensive if you're bringing a family of 4 or 5, etc., to a game. It can be expensive to come to a game, but you got some $3 options. That's a lot better than the usual $6 and $7 items, because usually you bring those kids, they're going to want something to eat or drink. So really think that's a great promotion by the administration, by the sports staff. Honestly, I think it's just one that should stick around for the rest of the season, in my opinion. That's just mine. I know you're cutting into some profits when you're discounting like that, but I just think that's something we need to do to continue driving people into the stands. We got to win games and make it affordable and fun to attend those games.
I fully agree, because we got to get butts in seats. But that concludes this week's episode of the Red Towel Wrap Up. Moff, back to you.
Yeah, as always, a ton of good stuff, and it feels like we touched on dang near every sport, going and even not going on the hill right now. Just a ton of good stuff all across the Hilltopper Athletics. So really glad to hear it. We've got to jump into a couple basketball game recaps. We were on the road last week. Last Thursday, we played at Louisiana Tech. We ended up losing that game 67-77. We dropped to a record of 11-8 after that game. We were 2-4 in conference play. Quite frankly, the game was pretty close throughout. It was one of those games where I felt like we could get blown out if we shot bad and if Daniel Batcho was just, a low down low. But we actually held our own, even on the rebound battle. We'll talk about that later. But at the end of the game, it got to the point where if you leaned on Batcho or if you blew air in his direction, you were going to get a foul called on you. They were protecting that young man as good a player as he is. They were making sure he had some favorable calls. It definitely was pretty obvious as you were watching that game. Tech obviously pulled away late for that win, 10-point win. But, man, we battled the whole game. And, the effort, you can't question the effort and the heart of this team. It's as many players as they're down in the uphill climb that it is every single game. The heart and the effort's there, man. I really love this team and what I see from them on the court. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the La Tech game before we dive into the stats?
I had to keep up with it on the ESPN app, so I couldn't watch it or listen to it. But, we jumped out to that lead, and then we fell behind. But we always kept it close. I don't think the final score is any indicative or any shows how this game actually went. As I said last week, it was going to be a hard-fought win, or is it going to be a hard-fought game? Because it's always tough to go down there and win in Ruston, and it proved too much to be again. But this team never did give up, and I'm really proud of the resolve they showed. Yeah,
looking at some of the stat leaders from the game, our leading scorer was the usual suspect. Don McHenry, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Did have a little bit of a slow start to this game, and I, off the top of my head, I think he was 1 out of 7 from 3. Not his usual, can get hot, can catch fire self. He's kind of gone through a little bit of a slump shooting wise, but still getting his points, getting to the free throw line, helping us stay competitive. 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, doing a little bit of everything. Tyrone Marshall, 13 points, 8 rebounds. We saw a little bit more aggressive play out of Tyrone, something I really like to see, something I hope continues as the season goes on. Drive into those bigs, get them in foul trouble. Don't just settle for that 3-point shot. You're a mismatch nightmare. Go down there and cause some havoc. And then Enoch Kalambe was our third and last scorer in double figures. He also added 10 points. Looking at the team stats, it really kind of shows what happened in this game, why Tech was able to pull away. Field goal percentage, WKU shot 33.8% for the game. Louisiana Tech was at 42.6%. Looking at threes, WKU made 6 out of 28 for a 21.4 percentage. Louisiana Tech made 8 out of 26, so made +2 there, and we're at 30.8%. Free throws, man, this is the difference of the game. This is why they pulled away. You said and I said that final score looked bigger than what it was. Free throws, WKU shot 17 out of 21, so a really good percentage, north of 80% there. But Louisiana Tech shot 29 out of 42. They made more than we attempted. They attempted more than double of us. And then looking at rebounds, WKU actually won the rebounding margin, which has been rare, especially since Babakars went down with injury. But we had 42 rebounds to Louisiana Tech's 40 rebounds. Tyler, what are your thoughts on, some of these individual and team stats from the game?
Well, I think Tyrone Marshall, you're right. He is a mixed match nightmare, mismatch nightmare, as I should say. But I'm glad that he almost was flirting with a double-double. And McHenry gonna get his. I'm glad he got it throughout the game. As you said, he went through a slump, I noticed this game we kind of went through another scoring drought there towards the end. We went a few minutes where we didn't have any field goal. We just had some free throws. Well, if you're playing a good team at their place, you're gonna have to get them field goals somehow, especially when you're keeping it close towards the end. Because if you don't, they're gonna run away with it. And when you look at the stats, I mean, that 3-point percentage, that's terrible. But it's kind of been our weakness all season. We've had multiple games where we're shooting low 20s, mid 20s. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we had a few even in the teens. So, we definitely got to get that going better. And the free throws, that's crazy that they attempted 42. I'm glad they missed a lot of them. I don't know if y'all can hear my cat in the background. Sorry about that, y'all. I have no idea what he's doing. And when was the last time we won a rebounding battle? I mean, that's awesome. That at least we're trending up on that. I guess the team finally, or the coach and the teams finally had enough of, getting out rebounded by big margins that coach probably got into, and I'm sure they worked on that in practice.
Yeah, and talking about that free throw disparity a little bit more. We had 2 guys that fouled out of the game with 5 fouls, obviously, and we had 4 other Hilltoppers that had 4 fouls. So, I mean, we're already thin as it is. And then when you have to start playing, Ole Matador defense because you're afraid you're going to get a foul if you look at Bacho the wrong way. Yeah, it was hard to compete down, towards the end of the game. A lot of free throws for those guys, and that it is what it is. That's life on the road. That's life in Conference USA. Let's jump into some grades for this game. What have you got for the grade for the offense?
Offense, they they kept it close. You know, we're shooting 33.8, which isn't fantastic, 21.4, which is terrible. But 81% from the free throw line. And, you know, I'm going to have to give them a C.
Yeah, I'm going with a C as well. I mean, not a terrible display. Obviously, we'd like to shoot better, you know, and a lot of that is our 3-point percentage dragging down our field goal percentage. And one stat I did look into was that since the Babacar Faye injury, our 3-point percentage has gone down 10%. We've gone from, I think it was around 32% as a team, almost 33, down to 22%. So, you know, that's a big drop per game, especially when you're shooting, you know, 29, 33s. If you're making 2 to 3 less per game, you know, that can be the difference in the margin in many games. So I don't know if it's forcing threes. I don't know if it's just taking too many, the wrong people shooting them, whatever it is. It has gotten significantly worse. And, you know, you kind of see the output. The result of it is losing more games than what you want to. So, yeah, I'm right there, a C as well for me for offense. What about your defensive grade?
Well, defense is definitely going to be up a little bit more because, you know, Leroy, he got 8 rebounds. You look at Blaze, he got 5. And, you know, a few weeks ago, Leroy wasn't getting but maybe 1, 2, 3 tops. And Blaze, you know, since he came back and he's able to play, he's adding 2. You know, he's also added 8 points as well. We're, you know, we're off offense. But the defense kept Batcho, kept him off the board. You know, he tall boy, big boy. He was going to go in there and get his. They did allow him to have 18 points, but really kind of shut down some of the other people. But they did give up 77 points. I'll give them a C as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We don't compare notes, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't a terrible effort. Again, especially when you break down, you know, the free throws, especially. You know, the defense was doing everything it could to try to contain Batcho and their bigs and just the mismatches that we had. And I think they did a pretty good job for the hand they have been dealt in recent games. So I'm gonna give them a C as well. What about your grade for coaching?
Coaching, this is a tough one. I feel like he's definitely worked on the rebounding on the team, which is great. Can't really help whenever they're getting so many fouls called though. I'll give coaching a C as well.
Yeah, I'm going C as well. Again, I love to see the rebounding margin being in our favor. You know, we've talked about that being a hustle and or effort stat, you know, something that we can control. Even with the guys that we have on the floor, we have several guys that can put themselves in position, and we've shown that now a couple times. And even in the next game, we talk about, you know, we can win the rebounding battle. You know, now it just looks like you know, shot selection, you know, kind of needs to be the next thing. And we have shooters that just haven't been making shots. That's kind of another part of it. You know, I'm not going to name any guys, but if you look down the box score, you know, sometimes we're just missing shots, and it is what it is. And shooters are going to keep shooting till they start going in. And who knows, we're about to be back in Diddle in just a couple of days. And maybe that's when the lid comes off and we see a couple guys catch fire and, you know, win a couple more games that we really need for Conference USA standings. But coaching wise, I'm going to give them a C as well. What about your overall grade versus La Tech?
Overall, it's going to be a C. I wish it could have been better. I wish we could have went down there and won again, but C is where it's going to land at.
Yeah, pretty much a clean sweep. C. I mean, I think we held our own. We stayed competitive. You know, if not for the foul and free throw disparity, I mean, who knows? Make a few more shots, and you know, we could have been right in this game at the end. But it is what it is. Close the book on that one. And then we get to talk about the game that we had this past Saturday versus Sam Houston. We went to Sam Houston and won that game 75-66. That moved our record to 12-8 overall and 3-4 in conference play. For some reason, Don McHenry did not start this game. Never heard it explained or mentioned why. he didn't look injured or sick or slowed down any when he did get into the game. He was one of the first substitutions in the game. But WKU was able to pull away late in this game and win by a comfortable margin thanks to some good aggressive offense. Kind of got away from shooting at three. We had some guys attacking the basket. It was able to help us, just put this game away by continuing to score and getting to the free throw line and scoring points. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the Sam Houston victory before we jump into stats?
It was a good win, because it was kind of back and forth there for a little bit. We would go up, and then Sam Houston would come up, tie, take the lead. Then we'd fight back, tie, take the lead. And I actually was listening to Coach Plono's media availability today, and he actually said he just wanted to try bringing Don off the bench. He just wanted to kind of swap it up and see what that would do. And it worked. I mean, it seemed like it did. He had another great game, but I also said that one was going to be kind of a scrappy game too, and it turned out to be that way. Sam Houston's just a hard place to play at, and their team always wants to fight. And thankfully, we was able to come away with the victory this time again.
Yeah, looking at some of the stat leaders for the game, the usual suspect was our leading scorer. Even though he didn't start the game, he did finish the game. Don McHenry had 20 points and 3 rebounds. Then Braxton Bayless, probably his best game all around as a Hilltopper so far. He had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Then Enoch Kalambe had 13 points and 7 rebounds. And Christian Lander also was in double figures with 10 points and 4 rebounds. Looking at the team stats on field goal percentage, WKU shot 44.1%, so much improved, easier offense, you could say. Sam Houston shot 37.5. On 3-point field goals, we were 8 out of 27, good for 29.6%. Sam Houston was 7 out of 24. They were 29.2%. Free throws, WKU was 15 out of 18. Sam Houston was 11 out of 18, so we were +1 on 3-pointers made and +4 on free throws made. That always helps keep you in those close games or keep you ahead. And then rebounding margin, WKU won the rebounding margin again, 43-36 in pretty convincing fashion there. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on the stats from the team and players before we jump into some grades?
Well, I really do like seeing more than just 1 to 2 players in double figures. Christian Lander had a great game. Enoch had a great game. Tyrone Marshall, he didn't get to double digits, but he still gave us 9 points, 6 rebounds. Blaze Keita, he went up there and grabbed 7 rebounds, and then Leroy, he had 3 with 2 points, even though he did foul out again. And Braxton Bayless, that man just must like playing down there in Sam Houston, because you're right, he had an awesome game. I wish that's one thing that we could see more of, more consistent, was a lot more scoring coming off the bench. And, like Jack. Jack's a great player. Jack, he can get assists all the time. And if his shot's on, I feel like he's primed to have a good game this season. But you're right, the rebounding battle, it was good to win it. It was good to see us just south of 30% from 3-point line. I wish we could have got that above it. But that field goal percentage, 44.1, awesome. And then hitting 15 out of 18 free throws, that's always good for you if you're going to win.
Yeah, just an all-around good game. And I think that'll probably obviously translate into these grades that we have for the game. What are your grades for the offense versus Sam Houston?
I'm going to give them an A because, finally we were out of the 30% on shooting from the field goal. They was going up. They got 14 offensive rebounds. This game they committed 15 turnovers, but that obviously didn't lose us the game. It just kept it closer than what you see the final score there. So yeah, I'm going to give the offense an A.
Yeah, it's going to be an A for me as well. I mean, we scored 75 points. Nice to see us, above We had kind of dropped. We had been averaging close to 78 points in non-conference play. It's kind of dipped down to, closer to 72, 74 if you look at the last stretch of games. But nice to see us get back to 75. If we can get that or slightly above, I feel pretty good about most of our conference games. But offense has had to look a little bit different with some of the guys we've had gone down with Julius and Baba. We're having to find it in other places. Enoch and Braxton and Tyrone, those guys stepping up. Love to see it. Keep it going. But I'm giving those guys an A, man. They played their hearts out. What about you, Greg, for the defense?
I was about to say, and for defense, I feel like this is a game deserving of an A as well. You held them to 35.5% field goals, 29.2% from threes. And then thankfully they were off on the free throw percentage. That's 61.1%. You left 7 points out there that could change the game up, but thankfully they missed it. We only turned them over though 10 times, which at least they got into double figures on that, and we gave up 15 offensive rebounds. So I wish we could have blocked out and got more defensive rebounds, but offensive rebounds are going to happen in a game. So, but it's a team fault. The team played good defense. I'm going to give them an A.
Yeah, I'm giving the defense an A as well. I mean, held them to a low percentage, won the rebounding battle by a pretty considerable margin. So I'm really happy with the defensive effort. Haven't questioned that all year. I think the effort and the toughness and aggressiveness has been there all year. Feels like we're getting short on bodies sometimes, but I still love the effort that those guys are playing with. What about your grade for coaching?
I feel like the coach had them primed up for this game, and he made good calls throughout the game, swapping defenses and all that. So I'm going to give coach an A as well.
Yeah, when you win games, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot easier. So I'm giving coach and the staff an A. I think they've done a remarkable job all season, and especially with what they're dealing with the roster management and injuries. But it's a lot easier. It's a lot prettier to put a nice ribbon on it when you win the ball game. So I'm going to give those guys an A for coaching. What about your overall grade?
Overall, it's going to be an A. I feel like this was just a great bounce back game from us after having a few hard games throughout the past couple of weeks. The team fought hard and bounced right back. So I'm going to give them an A.
Yeah, I'm going to give them an A as well. It's nice to split a road stand, as we had it. We've talked about that. You need to win your home games and split those roadies, as it's tough to win on the road in this conference. And we did that. Now we come back home. It feels like it's been forever since we played at home. And I guess it feels a little bit longer for me because I've missed the last 2 home games. I think I was sick on the Thursday game, and then I was out of town on the Saturday game. So it's been an extra long time for me to get to see our Hilltoppers in Diddle Arena. But this Thursday, January 30th, at 7 p.m., we tip off versus UTEP. That game will be on ESPN Plus. WKU enters the game at 12-8. We are 3-4 in conference play. UTEP is currently 15-5 and 5-2 in conference play. The ESPN matchup predictor really favors WKU to win this game. A little bit surprising, just looking at those records, but it favors us at 65.9% chance to win the ball game. But when you dive into the UTEP schedule, they have played 5 of their first 7 conference games at home, and they most recently beat Kennesaw State 73-71. I think that has played a lot into their winning record, 5-2 out of their 7 games, with 5 of those being at home. We've kind of been on the flip side of that, where we have played a majority of our games on the road so far, and unfortunately have lost those as well. So going to be nice to come back home. We obviously need to pick up a couple victories. We talked earlier about the $3 concessions. That's a great deal for any individual or family. Popcorn, Coke, adult beverage, hot dog, whatever you're in the mood for. $3 concessions for this game and the Saturday game. It's also a whiteout game, the Coaches versus Cancer game. They're giving out free white T-shirts. with ribbons on them. They had those displayed on the WKU basketball or WKU sports account today to the first 1,000 fans in the arena. So get there early. Obviously, packed Diddle. Looking forward to hopefully seeing a better and full student section as students are now back in session for the spring semester. So looking forward to hopefully a little bit more energetic Diddle Arena than what we've had for, the last couple months. It feels like it's been, since Thanksgiving, since we were at home with some students in the building. So looking forward to it, man. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the game?
I think this is going to be another hard fought game. UTEP sitting on top of the conference standings right now, tied for first with Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. So, they're fighting to stay up there, and here we are towards the bottom, two games behind first place, and we're fighting to get up there. So it's really going to be a scrappy game. I think, this is kind of like a rematch of the last year's conference championship. They're returning a lot of the same team. They basically have the same team. They're just a little bit older and a little bit better. And I feel like we need to come with our A game because, we did beat them pretty handedly last year. But as I said, they've gotten older and they've gotten better. They end up beating La Tech by 10, Sam Houston by 9, New Mexico State they lost to them. And they beat Liberty by 2 at Liberty. Now, granted, we did the same thing, but, I just feel like this team wants revenge, and I'm pretty sure they remember that beating we gave them last year to end the season. So I feel like they're going to be coming to show us who they really are on Thursday.
I hope they do remember it, and I hope they're ready for another round of it, quite frankly. Let's talk about some of their stat leaders, and like you said, some familiar names to talk about. Their leading scorer is Otis Frazier. He is number 23. He's a 6'6" senior forward, averaging 14.6 points per game. Their leading rebounder is Kevin Kalu. He is number 34. He is a 6'9" senior forward, averaging 5.3 rebounds per game. And their leading passer is David Terrell Jr. He's number 5. He's a 6'4" sophomore guard, averaging 3.1 assists per game. Looking at the team stats, points per game, WKU is averaging slightly more. We're at 76.8. They are averaging 73.4 points per game. Points allowed, we're allowing 75.1, whereas UTEP is only allowing 68.1%. So maybe a little bit tougher defensively. Field goal percentage, WKU is currently at 42.3%, whereas they're at 45.7%. This one's kind of shocking. Rebounds per game, WKU averages 38.2. UTEP is at 29.3. So we are at a +9 rebound advantage on average. Obviously that could change in this game, but they just don't appear to be a very strong rebounding team, which is a little surprising and could really bode well and in our favor in a game that could be close, and you need to get extra possessions or avoid them getting extra possessions. We need to be strong rebounding the ball. UTEP does slightly average more assists and steals per game than us. I'm not going to comb down every single stat, but Tyler, what are your thoughts on these individual and team stats for UTEP?
Well, I'd like to talk about stats first. UTEP actually leads the nation in steals per game. I found that out tonight whenever I was looking them up. But as I said, I was listening to coach's media availability, and he said they love to steal the ball. They like to get them fast break points, and he said they like to play up a little bit on defense. So if you can get behind them, that you can get easier points. So hopefully he's game planning for that. But that is kind of surprising that they're only averaging 29.3 rebounds a game. I figured that would be more. But thankfully it's not. Once you get out of Otis Frazier, Cody Camper's their leading scorer, averaging 11.6. Ahmed Bynum, he's averaging 10.9, and Devin Barnes, he's averaging 10.2. Once you get out of them four players, it kind of really goes downhill after that. So I think if you key in on Frazier, Camper, and Barnes and Bynum. I'm having a hard time with that name tonight. I feel like you're going to set yourself up for success, and hopefully our defense comes ready to play.
Looking at it and thinking about it, I haven't watched much UTEP basketball. I would almost bet that their rebounding is probably due to the fact they probably get back on defense a little quicker than most teams. Most teams are crashing the boards and then getting back on defense. They're so good defensively, points allowed. I would bet that they probably just don't focus as much on offensive rebounds. It's probably why they're not quite there, but they set up their defense to kind of offset that. I could be wrong. Be something to watch for in this game, but really looking forward to seeing that and hoping that that trend or that average holds true, because that could be big for us. Hopefully knocking them off and getting a much needed conference win, especially at home on a whiteout. Pack Diddle. Let's go. $3 concession. And then let's talk about our Saturday game. We host New Mexico State this Saturday, February 1st. It is a 2 p.m. tip-off. That game is also on ESPN Plus. New Mexico State is currently 11-9. They are 4-3 in conference play, but they are coming off 3 straight losses after starting 4-0 in conference play. Their most recent loss being to Jacksonville State. And once again, the ESPN matchup predictor really favors WKU. Kind of surprising, but I guess it's really that home court advantage. It just seems like if you're at home, you've got a 60+% chance. If you're on the road, you're probably going to be in that mid to low 30% chance of winning. That just kind of seems like the recipe or that ESPN matchup is pulling out of the hat maybe. But I hope it holds true. 66.5% chance for us to win. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this New Mexico State matchup before we dive into some of the scoring and stat leaders?
Well, New Mexico State, they're kind of iffy in my book. I think this one should be a good game for Western. I'm just not expecting much out of New Mexico State. Now, granted, that's probably going to come back and bite me in the butt, but I feel like this should be not a very easy win, but it should definitely be a good win for us.
Are you saying there's no ball hawks at New Mexico State?
No, I will never say that again. 2 years in a row that's happened. I'm never saying that about New Mexico State football again.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. Again, I don't think any game's going to be a pushover, and I'm glad we're at home for this one. But let's talk about some of their stat leaders. Their leading scorer is Christian Cook. He is number 3. He's averaging 14.9 points per game. Their leading rebounder is Peter Filippidi, number 12. He's averaging 8.4 rebounds per game. I know you're glad I got that one. Their leading passer is Zaudy Jackson. He is number 2. He's averaging 3.9 assists per game. I don't know why ESPN did not have their height listed and their year listed on there. So you just got their name and their jersey number. I guess that's all we really need to identify who they are. Usually I try to give a little bit more information, though. Looking at team stats, New Mexico State is scoring 72.7 points per game, quite a bit lower than our 76.8. But points against, they're allowing 67.5 points per game, which is significantly lower than the 75.1 we're allowing. Their field goal percentage, almost the same, 43.3% for them, 42.3% for us. And then rebounds per game, again, pretty close, 37.6 for them, 38.2 for the toppers. So, pretty even, for the most part. A few points here or there separating us, points for, points against. But, man, on paper, looks pretty even. But I really like our chances, especially being at home. Even down a couple bodies, I enjoy this team. I think they put a lot of effort out there. They should be supported. Before we jump into some keys to victory, Tyler, what are your thoughts on this New Mexico State team and what we have to deal with?
Well, I mean, that obviously their points allowed, at 67.5 shows that they do play some good defense. But I was looking at their free throw percentage. They're shooting 66.9%. We're shooting like 73.6. So I feel like that's definitely going to favor us. at least we're scoring more than they are typically. I know our defense can be lackluster sometimes. There at the beginning of the season, it seemed like it was really good, very chaotic. But I guess when you ain't got as many bodies put out there, people get tired, and that's understandable. Hopefully, though, we get energized by the fans there at the game on Saturday, and they find that second win to come out and really push towards the end of the game to kind of seal it away. But I feel like, yes, it is close to even, but I do like our chances at home to be able to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as always, we're going to do our keys to victory, our MBT, and our score predictions. We're just going to put both of these games together, what our keys to victory are. So, Tyler, what's your first key to victory for UTEP and New Mexico State?
To me, it's got to be take care of the ball, especially when you're playing against the UTEP, who leads the nation in steals. Definitely leads and they lead the nation with 11 steals per game. Definitely lead the conference. So we got to protect the ball and definitely not have stupid turnovers, unforced errors. We just really need to cherish that ball every time we get it.
My first key to victory is rebound the ball. Secure the ball. Do not give up offensive rebounds to them. And quite frankly, when we're in offense, let's get a couple offensive rebounds, some second chance points. That never hurts. They say second shots go in, so that's what I want to see. When we are competitive or in the plus side in rebounds, we tend to do better and have a better chance of winning. So I want to see that trend continue from the last two games. Rebound the ball. What is your second key to victory?
Well, my second key to victory is going to be going what you just said. Keep grabbing rebounds. We finally won 2 rebounding battles in two games. So let's not let up. Let's just keep that same momentum going.
My second key to victory is going to be drive the ball to the hole, man. We know that we're down a big guy in Babacar that can score some back to the basket, good footwork, points in the paint. But, man, we have so many guards and Enoch and Wu, those hybrid slash guys that can get to the rim at will. And I think we saw it versus La Tech. We definitely saw it versus Sam Houston that, man, when we get downhill and get to the basket, good things happen. You either make a basket, have an easier chance of making a basket, or you get fouled. And, at the pace we like to play, we like to get the rebound and run. I think it makes sense to, get downhill, get to the goal instead of, passing around the arc and somebody taking an off balance three that just, quite frankly, hasn't been our forte the last, 10 games or so. So I think drive the ball, get to the hole, get those easy buckets if you can. Tyler, what's your third key to victory?
Mine's going to be play from the inside out, kind of like what you say, get it down low, get it to the paint, and either let them turn around and have a easy hook shot or layup, or they pass it back out to a shooter who's set and ready to shoot the ball. Because typically, when a big guy gets the ball, people are going to kind of leak in, try to strip the ball from him, or at least add some pressure to him. That leaves some shooters wide open. And these guys have to practice, set shots, a crap ton of set 3-point shots every day. So, it's not. I'd rather them take that shot than kind of like what you said, a dribbling off balance 3-point shot. I would like for them to be set, ready for the ball, and then shoot. I feel like that ball has a greater chance to go in than someone just dribbling around, and all of a sudden just jacking up a shot.
Yeah, my third key to victory is going to be one you've already talked about, but take care of the ball. That's just valuing possessions, being efficient with the basketball. Our shooting percentages have been low the last, 4 of the last 5 games, 3 of the last 5 games, whatever it is. So if you're not shooting well and you're turning the ball over, if both of those trends continue, it makes it real hard to win games when you have empty possession. So I'll say we've got to value the basketball, not turn it over a lot, especially against a team that forces a lot of steals. So that could be tough, and that could be vital for us staying in these games and hopefully getting a couple of needed home victories. Tyler, who's going to be your MVP for this homestand?
Woo Marshall. I still feel like he has his best games in front of him. I feel like he can be a terror to opposing teams, and I mean, really, I'm just ready for him just to have some great offense, defensive games.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Don McHenry. I mean, it's hard for me to choose against him, even though he's coming off a couple 20-point games, which seems kind of crazy because he's, again, looking at his 3-point numbers, he's kind of been in a slump. He started slow both of those games, but luckily, kind of backpacked us at the end of both of those games and helped us stay competitive and win a game. But, I think Diddle Arena Don is a little bit more electric when the crowd gets behind him. You just get a little bit more juice when you're at home. So I want to see Don get back to, hitting 3, 4, 5 3-pointers in a game. Once they start going in, his eyes get big, the hoops gets big, and he'll get on a roll quick. And I think it's going to happen because he's a shooter, he's a player, he's a driver. He can score at all 3 levels. He's the leader of this team. Especially losing Baba, especially losing Julius for an unknown amount of time. Hopefully those guys do and will come back before the season ends. But right now, it's Don McHenry is the straw. He's stirring the drink, and hopefully we have several other guys step up like we had this last game. But I think it starts with Don for sure, 100%. What's your score prediction for UTEP and New Mexico State?
All right, so the UTEP game, as I said, it's going to be a hard one. Top still come out on top at home, 78-73, and then versus New Mexico State. Yes, it's going to be a little even. I feel like our defense is going to come in big in this game, and Top's going to win at 78-69. Nice.
All right, you got us scoring 78 both games, 73 for them, 69 for them. I'm close to you, actually. I have us winning the UTEP game 74-71, so a 3-point victory. Maybe closer than we want, but I think a victory by 1 or by 100 is a good victory. So quite frankly, I'll take it. And then the New Mexico State game, I have a little bit wider cushion like you do. I have it 78-70, so nearly identical. Really looking forward to a home court sweep, some $3 concessions, just being back in Diddle Arena, period, man. It's been too long, and I can't remember the last home game I was at. I know it's been too long, and I'm looking forward to it. Glad we got to talk about these games. Really looking forward to recapping, hopefully a couple big wins that help put us back over 500 in conference play. Put us in position to make a run at a top 3 or 4 seed heading into the conference tournament. Then also the ladies on the road playing these same teams. They've just have caught lightning in a bottle the last 5 games and have won 5 in a row. Hopefully they continue that streak and win a couple more before they come back home in a couple weeks. So hopefully the Lady Toppers keep it going as well. Love to see that. So looking forward to it, man. It's basketball time, and time to get back into Diddle Arena. Let's go. Tyler, hit us with your final words and take us on out.
Wow, I can't believe all right, so yeah, everyone needs to bring your mama, bring your brother, bring your sister, bring your friends, bring your dad, bring cousins, aunts, uncles, bring everybody. Because this team, as we said before, this team deserves all the support in the world that it can get. And what's a better place to get it than right at home? Students come out, support the team, fans. I mean, yes, it's a Thursday night, but what else you going to be doing on Thursday night other than watching your favorite team play? So everybody needs to come out, support the team. And with that, Moth, who has better than us?
Nobody, but you know it.
Go Tops.
Go Tops. Later, guys.
See you.